Okay, sequences and series. All right. All right, folks, should be seated. Sequences and series. So a sequence is a group or a set, a group of numbers that follows a pattern. Group of numbers that follows a pattern. So an example: 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11. Another example: I'll tell you in a second. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. So EG, by the way, it's an interesting point. This is, okay, so a lot of people put EX for example. So example actually comes from a Latin phrase called exemplo gratia, meaning for the sake of example. So we abbreviated EG as the technically correct abbreviation. That's right. Okay, so by definition, a sequence has numbers, and each number is called a term. Each number is called a term. So, example, this is term 1, term 2, term 3, term 4, and term 5. And finally, oftentimes sequences are often written in a general form such as another example, a sub n equals 3n, literally I just made this up, plus 5. A sub n equals 3n plus 5. We call this this is a bracket, we call this the general form or the nth expression. Those are just synonyms. General form, nth expression. Synonyms. And let me show you what I mean by this. So it says an equals 3n plus 5. So what we mean by that is the following. So we have an equals 3n plus 5. So if I want to find the first term, a1 would be 3 times 1 plus 5, which would equal 8. If I wanted to find a2, the second term, 3 times 2 plus 5, which is 11. If I wanted to find the third term, 3 times 3 plus 5, which equals 14, and I could keep going. If I wanted to find the 50th term, 3 times 50 plus 5 is 155. questions on that? Cool. Let's do an example. I'll do level 1, number 3. So level 1, number 3, I think it's miswritten on the page. It should look like this. I think this AN got left out. So what they want us to do here is find the first 4 terms and then the 100th term. So term 1 just means plug in 1 anywhere you see an n. -1 to the first power over 2 times 1 minus 1. -1 to the first power is -1. 2 times 1 is 2 minus 1. So -1 over 1, which is just -1. There's the first term. And we want to find terms 1 through 4. If you're good with term 1, keep going. Terms 2, 3, 4, and then 100. I'll talk through term 2, and then I will not talk to the other 2. So let me know if you have questions. So I'm just plugging in 2 anytime I saw n. And this is what I got. Please verify you're getting this for A2. If you're good, again, continue on A3, A4, and then A100. And here we go. So please verify you can get all these. If you have a question, please ask me. Okay. There are 4 types of sequences we will discuss. The first type is called arithmetic. And when you see arithmetic, when you're trying to remember it, you want to think about adding. That's like the word to help you remember it. So an arithmetic sequence is a sequence where each term is, I'll use the word separated in quotes by a common difference. And common difference is the number, and again, an example will make this very clear, the number you add to go from one term to the next. Has to be adding. Has to be adding. By way of example, 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Every time I add 2, so we would say that 2 is the common difference. So this is what I add to go from one term to the next, and we abbreviate the common difference with the letter D. So, yeah, go ahead, Abel.
So when you put D, is that always common difference, or would have like another?
No, it's always. Yeah, it's always counted. So another example for arithmetic would be this. Etc. Here, every time I am adding -6, has to be adding. Always think about adding. Do not say I'm subtracting 6, though they are in reality the same thing. We say that -6 is the common difference. And that is equal to D. It can be positive or negative. If the numbers are getting bigger, positive. If the numbers are getting smaller, negative. Alright. Second type is geometric. Here you want to think about multiplying. Geometric is a sequence where each term is separated by a common ratio. Common ratio is the number you multiply to go from one term to the next. Example. Every time I'm multiplying by 6, so we say 6 is the common ratio, and we abbreviate it with an R. Another example. Call it 8, 4, 2, 1, 1/2. Here, every time I multiply by 1/2. Right? So it is the same thing as dividing by 2, but we say the common ratio is 1/2. So 1/2 equals the common ratio, and that is abbreviated as R. Questions? Third type of sequence is alternating, and I'll unfreeze in 1 second to give folks a chance to catch up. Alternating. You can write that down. The key word there is switching. Switching. This is alternating. This is a sequence that switches from positive to negative